Boy, Derek Branch of Saint Discussions on Strike 7 Sports. In today's video, we're going to talk about the first ever 7 round mock draft for the Saint Discussions on Strike 7 Sports platform. This is the first 7 round mock that we've done for this year's version of the New Orleans Saints. If you follow along throughout the weeks, we've recently conducted a 2 round mock. That was our first one, followed up by a 5 round mock. That was our second mock draft. That was all published on the Strike 7 Sports website. Now we have switched things over to the streaming side of it, streaming side of the platform on YouTube, and we're gonna do our first 7 round mock draft for this year's team 1.0. The second mock draft, which will also be 7 rounds, will be conducted on the Strike 7 Sports website. So just to get you up to speed on what has transpired in the last, I would say, 10 to 12 hours, or even longer than that, concerning the New Orleans Saints, and it kind of had an effect on the mock that I originally had planned, which would have featured the Saints taking a wide receiver. But we got the news early today, this morning, that right tackle Ryan Ramczyk could possibly miss the remainder of the season and possibly not play football again. Is up in the air because there's apparently has been, I would say a setback in his recovery, his rehab. So it's not healing up properly. The injury that he was dealing with. And I'm not really surprised by this because when you mention things like degenerative knees, things like that, that stuff could be a career ender. So, with that being said, Saints are definitely going to be in the market for a right and a left tackle, if we're being honest. A right and a left tackle, because it's not looking good right now. A degenerative knee, that stuff always could be a pain for any athlete. And he'll probably miss the remainder of the season, the entire season, and may not even get back on the field. Who knows? That's something that Ryan Ramczyk will have to consider. But Saints will be in the market for definitely be in the market for a tackle. They may trade for one. They may move one of those draft picks to get one. Who knows? But they will be in the market for a tackle. Now the draft features a lot of these guys, a lot of left offensive tackles. There, I would say at least 6 to 7 of them was going to go off the board in the first round, and possibly 8. That's how deep this year's offensive tackle class is, and there's some good ones. So, without further ado, we're gonna start things off with pick number 14, which is where the Saints currently sit at in this year's draft. So we got them taking Talise Fuanga out of Oregon State. Um, I did this mock draft through the simulator of Pro Football Network, and felt as though he was the best offensive tackle on the board. Where the Saints picked at 7, so we decided to go with him. 6'6", 334 pounds. He's a red shirt junior, and you gotta take a tackle at 14. I know there was some mock. I did them the last mock that I did. We had decided the Saints taking Brock Bowers out of Georgia, pretty much the best tight end in this year's class, this year's draft. And for some odd reason, whenever I've done a mock draft for the Saints, using the simulator, Brock Bowers is always available. I would say at least 95% of the time, Brock Bowers is available at 14 to take. But knowing the reality of the situation, separating fantasy from actual reality, the Saints would take a tackle. They would take an offensive tackle. So I think Talise Fuanga out of Oregon State is the guy at 14. So according to the scouting report on Fuanga, strengths his strengths are he's a mountainous tackle with high in mass, density, and length, who carries that mass well, launches into space with elite explosiveness, and has rare second level range. Erupts off the snap with unhinged tenacity, constantly seeking to bury defenders. Can channel his length and frame and density into menacing knockback force at contact. At his size, he plays with exceptional knee bend and pad level, easily keeping leverage. Flashes great hip flexibility on recovery and can redirect momentum and realign. Able to swiftly hinge around and seal off gaps with his fluid, correct athleticism. Can consequently gather rushers with independent hands and suffocate with anchor. So I'm going to scroll down to some of his weaknesses because they got a lot of his strengths. His length, with it, while exceptional, might be not below the elite mark. Isn't always fast. Isn't always fast enough on vertical hip transition to fully seal out edge rushers. Sometimes lacks the flexibility to fully hinge outside and make up lost ground. Sometimes aligns too far right off the snap on pass downs, exposing himself to power. On occasion, bends at the waist, lurches on initial. Hold on. On occasion, bends at the waist and lurches on initial run blocks, failing to bring his feet. Occasionally drifts away from help assignments too early when surveying blitz threats. I'm just close it out right there. I mean, so like I've said in previous mock drafts that I've done on YouTube, a lot of this stuff could be coached out of a player. Now this guy, he's listed as one of those top tackles for a reason. All these guys got weaknesses in their career, some type of flaws that they're bringing to college, bringing from the college game, that the coaching staff is going to have to get coach out of them, going to have to take out of them. And we're supposedly supposed to have one of the best offensive line coaches in the league. So there's that. But I think you got to draft a left tackle, offensive tackle, and decide where you're going to place. You're going to put him on the right side or you're going to put him on the left side. And hopefully Trevor Penning can get up to speed. Because maybe you can put Penning at guard. If you could bring back Andrus Peat, put him at left tackle, put Fuanga at right tackle, and let Trevor Penning become a guard, you may have something right there. You might really have something. But first things first, the Saints got to draft an offensive tackle. That is a critical need for this team. Because if you watch last season, you watch how things played out, especially at the beginning of the year with Derek Carr, you know that he needed a clean pocket to survive. He needed a clean pocket to make the throws. He needed a clean pocket to survey the field. No, and those are facts. So, offensive tackle at 14, Talise Fuanga is the guy out of Oregon State at number 14. All right, 45, we go in the second round. Got to take another offensive tackle. Patrick Paul out of Houston. He could be Patrick Paul. The way it's looking for him is that he can fall between the first or the second round of the draft. going to most likely be a late round pick, plain and simple. But Saints need guys, man. The Saints need the depth. They need younger players, man. We see the issue with Ryan Ramczyk declining, may not come back, may be gone forever. Um, we don't know if Trevor Penning is really good. They're gonna give him a second chance with our new offensive line coach, but there may be a point where he is just not that good. He is a bust. We gotta accept those realities. You know what I'm saying? So I think if we go offensive tackle in the first round, offensive tackle in the second round, I think that's enough security to like cover the Saints. You know what I'm saying? Until they can get things situated. Because if you bring back Pete, maybe if you can bring back Pete, keep him at the left side. You can have this guy. You can have Paul as a depth piece, a guy that could come in occasionally. Maybe he can push James Hurst out of a spot. You know what I'm saying? Because James Hurst. If we had to lose James Hurst, I mean, we're really not missing anything. If we're being honest, and when he did play it, he wasn't setting the world on fire, in my opinion. So maybe Patrick Paul is a guy that could push James Hurst. Maybe Patrick Paul is a guy that can push Landon Young or Salvadori. You never know. But I think he could be a starter. That's a piece, but has the potential to be a starter in this league. Um, Played 4 years at Houston, was a All AAC honoree when he was at when Houston was in the AAC conference, and was the first team All Big 12 in Houston's first year as a member of a Power Five conference, the Big 12, and was the team captain as well. So a lot of accolades, bro. A lot of accolades. Guy that could come in, mature, proud, humble, ready to go. So I got Luis Tufunga, offensive tackle at 14. Patrick Paul, another offensive tackle at 45, just in case, could be a backup piece. So we don't have a third round pick or a fourth round pick, and I tried to move up into the third and fourth rounds, but teams that I try to switch, I try to give up assets for, denied it. So I just left it alone and just decided to go into the fifth round where we have, I believe, 4 to 5 draft picks. So for the fifth round, I got the Saints taking Jaquan Jackson out of Tulane, local guy. It doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt to add another wide receiver. In fact, Dennis Allen stated today at there was the owners meeting, the league meetings down there in Orlando, if I'm not mistaken, about adding another wide receiver to the offense. Not even another wide receiver, maybe a tight end, a running back, but he wants to have another pass catcher with his offense. And I believe Jaquan Jackson can do that. Not the biggest guy, 5'9", 188 pounds. I believe he scored 4 touchdowns this past season with 400 yards receiving. He was a reliable wide receiver for the Green Wave this past year. So based on the footage that I've watched on Jaquan Jackson, they use him in the slot. They used him on the outside in certain situations, and they also used him on the kickoff. But I think with this offense, with the Saints offense, he could be another slot guy. He could be a guy they could turn into a Deebo Samuel, if possible. He may have to put a little more weight on, but I believe he can do it. I think he could be a better route runner though. You know what I'm saying? So Jaquan Jackson at 150, which is a fifth round selection. I think he should be a player that the Saints should have their eyes on to add to this offense. The other guy that I like out of Western Kentucky, like Malachi Monroe, something like that. The Western Kentucky, Malachi Morley, the Western Kentucky wide receiver. You would have to Malachi Corley out of Western Kentucky. The Saints would have to at least get back into the third round, third or fourth rounds to grab him. You know, or they could take him at 45. But I think with that pick, you need another offensive tackle or another critical need on the team. Another critical need such as edge rusher. So I got him taking a wide receiver in the fifth round, and the choice that I decided to go with is Jaquan Jackson. All right, next I got him taken in the fifth round. The second selection in the fifth round, I got him taking a running back, Isaac Guerrero out of Louisville. Now, Isaac Guerrero, what he can do, based on what I've observed, what things I've read, he's kind of built in the mold of a Jamal Williams, and that may be a guy that they can bring in as competition. Based on what I've seen, he is not a flashy running back. He's not a guy that's going to take it to the house for 80 yards, 75 yards, but he's dependable. He's reliable. And I think he would do some great things in his offense. And maybe could push Jamal Williams out of a slot because he's a back that could get those tough yards that you can use at the goal line. That a back that can keep the chains moving. And also he's a better receiver coming out of the backfield than compared to a Jamal Williams. He just is. You know, and they haven't said anything about the status of Jamal Williams at this time. But I wouldn't be surprised if he's one of the names that are on the hot seat, that are on the bubble going into training camp. I wouldn't be surprised. But a guy like Isaac Guerrero can do that. Young guy, uh, pretty productive in Louisville, can catch the ball out of the backfield, consistent chain mover, I think can be utilized at the goal line. And with Garando, you could have a really young backfield, but going into this season, because you'll have Kendry Miller, Garando, and Alvin Kamara. But Isaac Garando, I could see a role where Isaac Garando could have success in this offense. You can utilize him catching screen passes. He can, use him in the slot, line him up in the slot. You have him, Jaquan Jackson. You know what I'm saying? So it will make a lot of sense to take a flyer on a guy like Isaac Garendo. He's 6 foot, 221 pounds. His 40 yard dash was a 4.3. Vertical jump 41.5. Strengths, according to his strengths, game changing speed to create consistent, explosive plays, well built frame, has the size to handle NFL workload, fights for every yard, and doesn't go down on first contact. Decisive, instinctive runner, good vision to find creases. Excuse me, hold on. Good vision to find creases and good overall processing ability as a rusher. Sets up defenders well before cutting, catches passes away from his frame, showing good good tracking, and hands as a pass catcher. And he's also willing and strong as a pass protector as well. Weaknesses, Corner's weaknesses, excuse me, not a sudden mover in terms of change of direction. Searches for a big play a tad too often, has to play more control within the play. Takes time to get back to, Takes time to get back to top gear after cutting. Needs to quicken processing as pass protector against stunts and blitzes. So I didn't know this, but it said that Garendo had a really good combine with his testing. and his film backs, and he let a lot of huge numbers, eye popping numbers in regard to those scores and all that. His speed is evident all over the tape. He finds daylight. Good luck catching him. If he finds daylight, they say good luck catching him. He's one of the best pound for pound athletes in the draft this year. So to me, man, this is more like an underrated player, man, because he has a really good profile, man. And it would make a lot of sense for the Saints to grab this guy, bro. Isaac Garendo. This you then way, man. If Alvin Kamara goes down with an injury after missing time, maybe this is a guy that can handle the workload. A back that you can give the ball off to hand the ball off to 20, 25 times and make something happen. Because the last time I checked, Gary Kubiak, Clint Kubiak, Kyle Shanahan system is very running back friendly. You know, so I think a guy like Isaac Garenda could have success playing in the system. So I got Isaac Garendo at pick 169 in the draft in the fifth round of the 2024 NFL draft for the New Orleans Saints. Afterwards, I got next pick in the fifth round. I got Justin Abogi out of Alabama, defensive tackle. Now, the reason that I go defensive tackle in this round is because, as many of you already know, the Saints lost Malcolm Roach to the Denver Broncos, who he signed a one-year deal with to rejoin Sean Payton, a guy that um, signed him. I think Melch went undrafted. Payton took a flyer on him, and he was with the Saints. He has been with the Saints ever since until this past season, this off season, where he signed the Broncos. So Justin Boyge could become, he can emerge as to me, an impact player on that defensive line. We do need help at nose tackle. 6'4", close to 290 pounds. Guy can play really good against the run and is really good against the pass. So he fits the Saints prototype. He's not, I wouldn't say he's built. When you look at him, when you look at him on tape, look at his footage, you would think that he's a pass rusher. He's built, but they list him as a defensive tackle. So he can come in, work the rotation with guys like, you know, Brian Brzee, um, Colin Saunders, Nathaniel Shepard, Peyton Turner, become part of the rotation, contribute, and then possibly become a perimeter player on the Saints defensive line. Who knows? That's because we don't know what's gonna happen with Peyton Turner. We really don't know. You know what I'm saying? So I think it would make a lot of sense if the Saints would take a defensive tackle with one of these picks they have in the fifth round, or if they can move up in the third or fourth round, find another guy. You know what I'm saying? But I got Justin Aboigbe at 170 in the fifth round of 2024 NFL draft. Give me a second. All right, next I think this is the last pick in the fifth round. I got Austin Reed out of Western Kentucky. I know the Saints just signed Nathan Peterman as a backup QB, but I think the Saints need to add another guy. You need to add another quarterback. They should always attempt to add a quarterback to their room, and find somebody they can develop. That way, they can learn the system And I think Austin Reed fits that bill. You know what I'm saying? Fits that mold. Um, what I've seen out of him at Western Kentucky, very proficient at the short to intermediate passing game. Nice arm. Um, put up some big numbers in that offense. Similar to what Bailey Bailey Zapp did when he was in Western Kentucky. Austin Reed did the same. You know, 6'2", 220 pounds. Threw for first year at West Florida, the previous school he was at. He threw for over 4,000 yards, 40 touchdowns, and 11 picks. Um, went to Western Kentucky, threw for 4,700 yards in 2022, 40 touchdowns, and another 11 picks. You know, so this is what I think. This is a guy that could help out. That can help out. You know, and this would be more competition for Jay Hainer. You know what I'm saying? Because I think he will beat out. He's going to beat out Nathan Peterman for that backup QB role. Because there is no way they believe that Nathan Peterman could beat um, Jake Hainer in a competition during training camp to get that second backup QB role. There's just no way. And I think Austin Reed may be an upgrade over Nathan Peterman. You know, but we'll see. But I got the Saints taking Austin Reed at 175. So his weaknesses, his strengths, prototypical frame, solid arm strength, velocity generation, velocity carries well enough into the intermediate and deep thirds, driving past DBs. Has a degree of arm elasticity, which he can use to adjust release angles. Arm elastically allows him to distribute on rollouts and scramble drills under pressure, able to layer velocity into deep boundary passes while placing where his wide receivers can reach. Not an adept creator, but his but at least has functional linear mobility and knows how to use it. Sound rotational thrower who consistently channels torque from his hips to his arm. Level shoulders and quick release in structure allow him to distribute at high level. Knows how to use his eyes to mislead linebackers off the snap and open the middle of the field. Able to throw with anticipation of middle of the field seams and stay on schedule. Able to anticipate breaks on comebacks and hitch routes, allowing wide receivers time and space. Excels at leading short range receivers upfield or away from the contact for reception after the catch. Rack. Has the poise and composure to keep his eyes up while stepping into the pocket. Able to navigate through narrow pocket lanes and extend opportunities for himself. He's a capable game manager who also shows a willingness to take risks on one-on-one matchups. Weaknesses: arm strength, not as good. Despite functional mobility is not an overwhelming creative threat creative threat on the lateral plane. At times can be more disciplined with his drop back step and avoid fading too much. Footwork can be lackadaisical on rhythm, throws screens at times because of volatility. Premature plants, premature plants of front foot can tug, front shoulder high, and cause throws. I'm cut off right there. So basically, Austin Reed, they project this guy as a day 3 pick, day 2 pick, a guy that can, you know, come in, be a backup QB, help you in spots, could possibly develop into something. So I would have an issue with the Saints taking um, this guy in the fifth round of the draft or the later rounds. Because he may be the best at that point in the draft, that period in the draft, to the fifth round. That he may be the best, prospect on the board. So Austin Reeve at number 175, which is the last pick in the 2024 NFL draft, fifth round. So Austin Reeve. After that, I got them taking Dylan McMahon, another guard out of NC State, sixth round pick, 190. Basically with this selection, Dylan McMahon could be a guy that they use as depth. Maybe a practice guy, or they resort him to the practice squad, stash him over there. But this is a guy that can use as depth. Dylan McMahon, guard, NC State, 190. Maybe he can come in and play in spots. Maybe he can come in for Cesar Ruiz if he goes down to injury, God forbid. But I got him taking another tackle, another guard, another offensive lineman in the later rounds of draft in the sixth round, and that's Dylan McMahon at 190. 199, I got him taking another defensive tackle. Um, Gabe Hall out of Baylor, 6'6", close to 300 pounds, could move, really good against the pass, block. He knocked down a lot of passes from based on what I've seen in Baylor. Proficient against the run, meets the Saints prototype at the defensive tackle position. And the thing is, in my opinion, based on what I've seen, in the later rounds of this year's draft, there really is not a lot of good edge rushers. No, well, not I won't say that, but the edge rushers that they have listed on the boards don't fit the Saints prototype. A lot of guys are 6'3", 240. A couple of them are 6'2", 245, 250. That's not really what the Saints looking for in a defensive end. You gotta be 6'4", 6'5", 265 pounds, 255, 270, long arms. That's what they're looking for. So I think Gabe Hall fits that bill, 199 in the sixth round. Last pick, 239, seventh round, Dominique Hampton, safety out of Washington. So we know they lost Lonnie Johnson. They lost, they released Marcus May. You're gonna need help at safety eventually. And I want like one of the arguments I was gonna present in an article a few days ago. Well, a week from now until we got the news today was that the Saints could take a safety. I want You can make a case for the Saints taking a safety at 14. And I had an analysis in the works. I don't know. I might do it. I might not do it. But where they take Cooper DeJean at 14 as a safety, because that's a position you need help at as well. Jordan Howden showed flashes last season, but are you ready to hand him over the reins to him? You know, bringing another guy like a Dominique Hampton that can come in and play, good at the run, good at defending the run. You can use him in certain passing situations. In Washington, to me, they use him as he was more like a rover. He's more like played more of like a box safety, similar to what Tyrann Mathieu is doing right now. And I'm not trying to push the honey badge out of the door because he's still playing at a high level, but you never know when Father Time creeps in. But I think um you bring this guy in, he can play. Maybe he can help you out on special teams. Put him on a practice squad. Maybe he can come in and sub in, play a couple snaps on certain cover situations. It wouldn't hurt. It wouldn't hurt to select this guy. We get Guys go down with injuries all the time. He can come in and play. And that's a common thing with the Saints. They don't care where you drafted at. They don't care if you was undrafted. They don't care if you took you in the fifth round or the fourth round. If you can play, they believe that you can play on defense. They're gonna put you in there. And last time I checked, the thing that Dennis Allen is really good at is developing DBs, both safety and cornerbacks. So I think he will fit right in with this team. Doesn't hurt to take him. I take a flyer on him. He's a late round pick. You're not paying him that much. There's a lot of things you can use him at: special teams, coverage situations, snaps, certain snaps, backup, depth piece. You can put him all over the field. So last pick, I got them taking Dominic um, Hampton out of the University of Washington. So to sum it all up, it was 14. We took Talise Fuanga, offensive tackle out of Oregon State. Patrick Paul, 45, another offensive tackle out of Houston. Jaquan Jackson, the fifth round, pick 150. Isaac Garado, running back, Louisville, pick 169. Justin Aborgby, 170, pick 170, fifth round, Alabama, defensive tackle. Austin Reed, quarterback, pick 175 out of Western Kentucky. Dylan McMahon, guard, North Carolina State, 190 in the sixth round. Gabe Hall, defensive tackle out of Baylor, sixth round, and Dominique Hampton, last round, safety out of Washington. So those are my 9 draft picks for this year's 2024 NFL Draft 1.0 mock draft, coming from Saint Discussions on Strike 7 Sports. We'll be back later at a later day with another draft, but it will be 2.0, and that might be the last one I do. And based on what may or may not happen during that time frame. But that draft will be seen on the Strike 7 Sports website. It'll be a written one. We may do some player profile articles down the road on this platform. I'm not really sure, but that's the route we're going to be heading as well. We'll be doing them on the site and on the YouTube channel as well. But that's what I have for right now in regards to the draft. Hopefully, if the Saints can, they can sign not Ryan Ramczyk. No, if they can, hopefully they can sign Andrew Peat, get him to come back to the team. But we'll see how it plays out. All right, that's all I have for y'all for right now, man. Give me a like, comment, subscribe to the channel. Let me know how you feel. What are your thoughts on the mock draft that I conducted? Did you like it? Do you think it could be better? Let me know. Also, check out strike7sports.com/Saints for latest content, the One Saints organization. Have a blessed night. Peace. I'm out. Who that?